programs in the evening at 6. We're not going to be doing these again until February. Now, we may have special programs that we may do if something comes up, or last year we did King or College for January. Which direction were we going? We might do that again because people really enjoyed that. So that might be something we do again in January. Maybe we'll just have to fill it out. But definitely the weekly events that we have, we're going to discontinue them on Monday evenings or Mondays until February. So we will be starting back up in February. That's our intention. So we look forward to seeing people out there. For those who are tuning in for the first time, this is a session that we call Chopping It Up. We come out here, I'm the Irritated Genie of Southeast of Warren Horizon and also an active member of the movement, the 21st Century Movement to save black families called Straight Black Pride Movement. So, we bring the community out to talk about issues that confront the black community every week. And we have fantastic dialogue. Sometimes it gets heated, but that's how it's supposed to be. If in the condition of our people, if nobody gets heated, if there's no feelings going on, that means that we're not going to win. Because somebody should get upset about something with the condition that's going on in our community. And sometimes that gets us on different ends of the spectrum of what we think. But at the end, in every case that we've done it, I think it's been a fantastic demonstration of how black folks want to talk. We always leave united and with a better idea than we started with. It's never a situation, we haven't had one situation yet where we all left and everybody was on this side and on this side. Whenever we going back and forth, one minute we here, 1 minute we here, but when we leave these sessions, everybody goes and says, you know what, I didn't think about that. Now we all in a better place and everybody gives and everybody takes. So it's a phenomenal experience to be here chopping it up. Not only is it fantastic to be here, but what's happening online. I go across the country or meet people from across the country, never seen them before. They don't know me from a DVD lecture, they don't know me from YouTube, they know from I watched the Chopping It Up, man. I love it. What you were saying, we did it. Some people are talking about making changes with their families. Just all kind of things that happen. We got people in different countries reaching out saying, this is phenomenal what y'all are doing. We're trying to do something similar over here. So the dialogue that we have, the back and forth dialogue is very important because it not only is helping us get better answers, but it's helping brothers and sisters around the world realize how they can fix their own problems as well. So it's a beautiful experience. I want to start off by thanking Dr. Baruch and the Everlasting Life staff for allowing us to use the facility. Can we show them some love for letting us come on out here and bring the community in to have this dialogue? Also, I want to remind everybody the trade-off that we have here. I think it's a beautiful trade-off. We use the facility at a very reasonable price, and what we get in return is the way we say thank you to Dr. Baruch and the Everlasting Life staff and this whole business framework. Is that we go in there, we buy something. We buy some food, we buy some drinks, we go in there and purchase, and like we always say, for a business, dollars make the most sense. So thank you in business is not words or email or even a smile. Thank you is, here's some dollars for what you've given us, and that way we can keep people employed, and we can keep the right kind of institutions in our community. Let's give Everlasting Life and Dr. Brew one more round of applause for supporting what we're doing here, and gonna let people know what we're doing tonight. First of all, just so people know what the basic rule construct that we have. We don't have a whole lot of rules here because we want people to be able to express themselves. Number one, no profanity. Why? Because a lot of times we have people that bring their children that want to get this message as well. And we don't think anything we talk about in the black community should prevent a responsible parent from bringing their children to get that information, because we're gonna leave here before they do. They're the ones that need this information more than we do, really, because they can get it earlier than we did. Because I know most of us didn't get it early enough. We can give it to them if we can give it to them in the right way. And no profanity is pretty much a simple thing to do. Two, no N-word. We don't feel like anybody in here doesn't have value. And I know myself and many other people are offended by the use of that term. Doesn't matter who uses it, because, again, why are we going to disrespect ourselves if we come into a room and try to help our condition? So we don't do it. Three, respect for everybody's right to speak. People have a right to speak. Now, I'm going to be totally contradicting you what I say with the new one, because I had to add one after last week. So you're going to say, well, Genie, how you going to do both? I'm going to do both. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we live in contradiction. But people have a right to speak. That doesn't mean everybody's going to agree with what somebody says, but anybody out there, we want people to feel free to give you a commentary, because that's why we're here. We don't have all the answers. If we had all the answers, there'd be no reason for us to have this dialogue and bring the community out. Number 4, solution-based dialogue. We are not here to see who's the smartest person, who got the most degrees, who knows everything. It's not about that. That's not what we do. We're trying to figure out, okay, here's something that's going on in the black community. What's a better way for us to do stuff? What's a solution to it? How do we do something better? That's why we come in here. That's what we do. This is a new rule that we just added last week, and this rule is going to stay here even when we start back in February because we need this rule. Now, I know we said everybody has a right to speak. That's true, except if you're going to do the more talk. We have to say no more discussion. And what we mean by that, we're not saying that a person who is a more can't be here. We want all our brothers and sisters here. They're totally welcome. However, we are not here talking about no fancy establishments, and we're not black and some fancy words we can use to try to escape dealing with racism and white supremacy. We are convinced that the only way we're going to deal with it is to be men and stand up and organize and deal with it like men deal with things. Men see problems. They don't find fancy words to dodge them. This doesn't work. And even if it does, we're not going to discuss it here because it takes us off track. Took us off track last week. It's the first time we ever even entertained it a little bit. And the first thing that happened once we did it, took everything off course, and you get a big argument because somebody doesn't want to be black. Well, for real, if a person doesn't want to be black, they probably shouldn't be here because it's for black people. Child Love is for black people. You know what I'm saying? It's for the black community. If you don't consider yourself black, then the question is why are you even here? And that, again, that's not for any of my brothers and sisters that are Moors. We're not saying that we don't want you here because we recognize you're black, but we are not going to sit here and have no debate over whether or not we black. That's just not going to happen here. I'm not going to waste my time doing it. And nobody else's time either. So I'm sorry to my brothers and sisters and brothers that's Moors out there that's listening. Like, oh, why you going to do that, Irritated Genie? Because I like y'all too much for y'all to come in here. I have a bad temperament, and I do not like dealing with people that don't want to be black and want to be African. That's how we got enslaved in the first place. We're not going to do that here. So I'm sorry to say, do not come up in here with none of that more talk stuff. It's just no room for it at all. Let me move on. What we're going to talk about tonight is actually we're going to show this film and then we're going to have dialogue. And it's a really, really good documentary. What happened is we were talking about what's going on in the school system. And we found some people who, just brothers and sisters around this area. We actually went to an event from African Unification in Baltimore. Their organization called African Unification. And they had a thing in the summer. We went up there, Straight Black Pride Movement. We talked to them, talked with the children. And one of the sisters told us a story that happened to her son in school. We was like, whoa, are you serious? And then another brother said, yeah, it happens every day. I work in the school system. And we started talking. We was like, whoa, we can't just sit around and talk. So we just agreed. We're going to bring together all these different people, and we're going to have 2 different sessions of groups, and we're going to go around the room and talk about what's going on in education in this country, theoretically and on a practical level, what's happening in the classrooms. And it was you'll be able to see it now. I mean, it wasn't anybody trying to be super sophisticated. These are people who work in education. These are parents talking about the stuff that's happening that I did not realize, because my children are not in public education. I didn't realize it was this crazy. And so we're going to watch it. It's called Black Exodus. And the reason it's called Black Exodus because it's basically saying that based on what the school system is doing to our children, it's time for us to make a mass exodus of our children out of the school system. Now, since this time, we did this a year and a half ago. So since that time, we've seen that the whole transgenderism and the schools are much worse than what we're going to see on here because things have gotten that bad in a year and a half. But this is going to give you an idea. This is about 2015, the summer of 2015 when we did this. And you'll be able to get to see what the people in the local area are saying is going on in our school system and why we need to pull our children out of the school system. So anybody that wants to see this, we made it free for everybody. We didn't even sell it. If you go to YouTube, you can put in Black Exodus and you can watch it again and again. It's on the Straight Black Pride Movement YouTube page, and it's on the Irritated Genie Speaks YouTube page, and it's on the Irritated Genie YouTube page. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and play that. And for people who just came in, just so I can let people know again, this is going to be our last chopping it up radio or that periodically as we go. And we're going to play this all the way through. However, if something happens in this, because we have time today, it's only an hour and 15 minutes, so it's not long. If you want me to stop it so we can discuss some part of it, or you didn't hear something, just let me know, because we got a nice group here today. We can do that, and we have that flexibility. It's our last night, so we can stay as long as we want, or do what we want to do in the short, so we can do that. So without any further ado, I'm going to start. Let me go ahead and hit these lights, and then I'm going to go ahead and start this. And if anybody wants to Facebook Live it, we're happy for you to do it. We appreciate it so that other people can see it other than just the people that we have. We have no problem with that whatsoever. In fact, we think that's a good thing. No, that's not it. All right, let me see.
How you doing?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's
better
good.
or this better?
Nah.
Which one?
The other one. Yeah.
That's good?
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's see if we can get this calculated here. Get us called Black Exodus. Oh, before we start, one more thing.
Thank you, sir.
Just so everybody knows, December 2nd, that's my 44th. I'll be 44. I'm getting old, y'all.
Sure.
You're
getting seasoned.
Yeah, I'm getting seasoned.
Seasoned is better.
I know those pains was old pains. You say they season pains, okay.
That's right.
Is it football season? Because I'm telling you, man. But we have a lecture coming up December 2nd. That's my birthday. December 2nd, 2017. 44th birthday. We're going to be doing a lecture called When Pedophiles Rule. And some of what you'll be in here, what you'll see in here, you'll be able to translate that it's going to go into this. But we're dealing with a serious time period where individuals whose full objective is to molest children and sexualize children have power, not just in America. Some of the things I'm going to share during this discussion and lecture are going to absolutely horrify you. I've just found out recently stuff that's going on in Saudi Arabia as part of the culture in all of the Muslim countries. It's much worse than we think, and then even in this country, and we're going to break down what happens and how the world looks when pedophiles rule, which is what is happening now, which is why we're seeing so much of this crazy stuff going on, which is why we got to get our children out of the public school system. My good friend Che Black has a song, and in it, when he starts off, he said that the school system has become a pedophile, and it's true. And so we want you to come on out. It's going to be at Thurgood Marshall Center. It'll be $20 for adults. It's free for 17 and under. We want you to bring your children out. It's going to be hard, but the children are targets, so the children need to be aware of what they're facing. So, again, it's called When Pedophiles Rule. It's Predators in Our Midst Part 2. It's the second installment of our lecture that we have called Predators in Our Midst. And we want you to come out. And then since my birthday, once it's over, we have our brother DJ Rick that we have up in here in Everlasting Life all the time. He's going to be there. We're going to play some music. Everlasting Life is going to be there selling food. So we're going to have a few music and information that's about saving the black family. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start playing this. It's called Black Exodus. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Straight pride, man, woman, child. I'm talking about nation building. I'm talking about racial children. Straight pride, man, woman, child. I'm talking about nation building. I'm talking about racial children. Straight pride, man, woman, child. Yeah, straight pride, man, woman, child. Yeah, straight pride, man, woman, child. I'm talking about nation building. I'm talking about racial children. The backbone of the nation, the heart, spirit, right here. It is not an individual situation that we're facing. It is a collective assault where the African personality, the black personality, black culture is being undermined. The psychology of the black man is being undermined. The very idea that the black man is for the black woman and that the black woman is for the black man is being so undermined that when and if we don't necessarily believe that two men should be together, we still don't believe a black man should be with a black woman. So it becomes more acceptable for a black man to be with a white female, or an Asian female, or a Hispanic female, or any female that is not a black woman, and vice versa. It has only been in the last 20 years that I've seen it become normal in black communities. For black women to think it acceptable to date, marry, or be in intimate relationships with men who are not black. And so now, on a regular basis, we see black women dating and in intimate relationships with white males, Hispanics, Asians, and anybody that will lay down with her. And so we see that the full fabric of the black community is being destroyed. And it's getting even deeper now because it's going to the level on the elementary grade school level where our children are being indoctrinated with the idea that genocide is good for black people. The idea that black men and black women should not come together and produce families like we've done for millenniums that consist of a strong black man and a strong black woman in committed relationships building strong black families. And as a result, the complete fabric of the black community is falling apart. Our whole racial context is falling apart. And the basic identity of being black, of being African, and loving oneself, that concept is almost completely void in young people from 5 years old to 15. If you ask them, are they proud to be black, they don't even want to identify with being black, much less proud to be black. If you ask them, are they proud to be African, much less, they don't even want to identify with Africa. And can't make the relationship between being black and being African and having self-respect and having dignity. And much of this is occurring by the miseducation they're getting in preschool, in the school system that's destroying their minds. So brothers and sisters, it is our responsibility to take our children out of the teeth of their enemies who are trying to ensure that our children can't compete with their children, and to teach our children what they need to know to be competitive in the 21st century. I want to thank you for listening. We appreciate you taking the time to consider what we have to say to you, and we're asking you, do the right thing, be responsible, pull your children out of these sick environments of this school system, and start healthy, straight, black, proud environments to educate your African black children for the 21st century. Straight, black, proud, brothers and sisters.
So somehow Mesopotamia had preceded Egypt, and then he just went past that straight to Greece, and there's a big giant, there's Africa sitting there on the map, and there is no discussion of anything happening in Africa for that whole semester, and I just felt so dehumanized with no history. We have a world history class. They're talking about all these places on the map, stuff I've never heard of. And at that point, by now, I didn't care about it. And that was one of the worst grades I ever got in school, my whole life. Because I could relate to anything he was talking about. There was somewhere in my subconscious, I just knew that I was being lied to. And I just remember thinking, he has to be wrong.
We are not included in our curriculum.
No.
We sit in those classes, can't relate to anything. I remember being in like a human geography class, and there's no reason why someone should graduate from high school and still think Africa is a jungle. That's just unrealistic, and that's a perception that a lot of black people have. And why is that? We know how beautiful all these other places are, these European places, but...
And I didn't get actual African-American history until university level, when I was forced to take Intro to African-American Studies. And, being African you're always told don't hang out with African Americans, don't involve yourself with them, you're different. So of course that's what I believed, and it wasn't until I took that course that I realized why African Americans are in the situation that they're in. And they don't talk about this beforehand, you know.
But what about the N-word? They call each other that?
I hear that all day.
No, I
Not from black people either, all day.
Yeah.
Hispanic kids.
Hispanic kids use the word more.
Yeah, more
Calling black
than
children or
No,
calling each other?
each other.
Yeah,
It's a
black
new homie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do the black children do when they hear the Hispanic children calling each other?
Nothing. They just call them back. It's the new homie. I mean, in my high school, we always had like African American Heritage Month and like and I think one other. And then some white children got upset. They were like, that's not fair. We don't have a month of our own to celebrate who we are. You know, we like our history too. We want to show our history too. So they stopped, and at that event, people from like 93.9, you know, you would come and be in the audience. Some white kids complained, they took it away.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being it's really good, 10 being this thing is going to kill an African child and never be good, how bad are the curriculums as what they were producing a black child? 10 being an absolute worst.
Just because of the self-esteem factor alone, self-esteem has a huge impact on how you go about life. If you learn about your people in school that you have very low self-esteem, and you're not going to be pushed to your maximum potential if you have low self-esteem. And so that's what all of our kids are suffering from.
They are demoralized. They have no self-esteem, no respect for themselves or each other. It is too easy to fall into the trap of being put on a medication, and then, well, then something's wrong with me because they have put me on a medication. It's daily rejection.
Yeah.
It's daily rejection.
Yeah.
First of all, every school that I go into, I'm one of 3 black men in the whole school, and the other 2 are custodians.
That's if you lucky.
If you lucky. It's 2 brothers that's always a custodian, and then you have me. You have white homosexual teachers, you have white female teachers, and then you have black female teachers. Normally, the administrators, the assistant principal, the principal, not the dean of students, because the dean of students is more like an enforcer, kind of what I do. But the assistant principal and the principal, by and large, are women.
And we have to know who's teaching our children. And in the school system, we want to see more men as teachers because it's mostly a like African, but when we are getting the African American male majority, that like in my observation at my school are homosexual men. And I can't imagine what's happening in those classrooms. Like when you have such like an indirect influence on the teachers, just having that influence on kids. I don't know if they're teaching them there. I can only imagine. There's so many homosexual men and women teachers just in my school alone. I can't imagine how many there are. But
So are you saying that it is abnormal to see a heterosexual black man
Yes.
who's married to a black woman teaching a black class?
yes, very, very high.
And what I would say is the school climate and culture is everything. You don't see a lot of strong black males in the school system. And again, it's worse the younger you get, early childhood, and then non-existent elementary. You get a few more sprinkled in there. Middle school, a few more. High school coach, he might be teaching wood shop or home ec, but you don't really see men like that because it's not a good climate for us to be in there. And the research shows that the reason why a lot of men don't go into teaching is not for the pay. It's an altruistic profession. You're not going in there to get money. You're going in there because you want to make a difference. As the research shows, that majority of black male educators go into high poverty schools, high minority schools, but the turnover is ridiculous because first things first, we can't discipline the children the way we want to discipline them. Oh, don't say that. Oh, you being too hard on them. Oh, don't raise your voice. Oh, don't, no, but see, you don't understand. I have masculine energy. When I come in and I want them to sit down, I tell them, sit down.
Right, that's right.
But you saying, oh, you being too harsh. Oh, you being too that. And they play us in. These are administrators at this point. So at this point, for a black male educator, your number one foe or your number one stepping stone and challenge is going to be your administrators, not even your fellow colleagues. They usually don't have the heart or the courage enough to step to you.
So the administrators,
yeah. So at this point, for a black male educator, your number one foe or your number one stepping stone and challenge is going to be your administrators.
what are they usually made up of? Give me the race and the gender.
Well, if it's not a white man, it's usually a black female, a black woman. It's usually your administrator, your principal, your vice principal, your parent-teacher liaison, more than likely will be a black woman.
Which one is going to give a strong black man more problems? And I want you to just be honest about it. Is it going to be a white male or a black woman?
Usually the white males, they do it behind the scenes. They end up with a 2-week notice. They're not going to step to you ever, really. It'll be, he'll get his Aunt Jemima, he'll get Big Mama, he'll get whoever female that comes, that's his warden. That's how he runs his prison. That's her warden. Yeah. He'll use a strong, and she'll be more like she's a strong black woman. Actually, probably somebody you can kind of respect. You know, somebody you might see around, and you're like, oh man, that's Miss so-and-so and so. But she's on an agenda that's not hers, it's his agenda. So she's coming down, sitting you down like mammy. But what she's saying out of her mouth, you like, you can't honestly believe that, do you? You can't be promoting that, are you? Like, please tell me that's not your thought.
So wait a minute, and the reason I gotta stop you because we've had a lot of dialogue, you know, but one thing that has not come up, and this is, I didn't expect this, but this is important. What I'm hearing you say, correct me if I'm wrong, is that black women are being used to protect this destructive educational environment for black children.
Okay, so let me be clear. Without the black woman, it can't exist.
That's right. You're totally right.
It will fall on his face. Without her help, without her being behind it, it will fall flat. They don't confront us. They don't come to our schools. They don't come into our counties. They don't come into our cities alone. Actually, as a man, because that's not who they are. They come with their black warden. She's usually a strong black woman at that. Somebody who can communicate well. Somebody who you would say know the kids. That's their line. I know these kids better than you. That's what they tell you as they disciplining you. They say, I know these are our kids and you're new. I know you want to be a hot shot. I know you want to make a difference, but this is how we do things here. This is the standard. This is the standard. This is the objective. And that's what kind of tames you. After a while, if you don't leave immediately, you just spend most of your time stressed out about how you're going to do 2 things. And the 2 things is, how am I going to maintain my manhood as I continue to teach this curriculum that I know is not good for our children. So it becomes personal now. Now you're having trouble looking at yourself in the mirror because you know the curriculum is no good. You know it's not beneficial to our children. Matter of fact, you don't only know that the curriculum is no good, you know that this is the enemy's curriculum. You know that this curriculum, the result of it is an effeminized black man or a masculinized black female. And it's a very interesting disciplinary class, how they discipline our young girls versus how they discipline our young boys. Our boys just sneeze in the classroom to make it disciplined. Our young girls can touch one another, play with each other's, braid the girl hair who she's sitting in behind her, and they don't say nothing to them. But let a young man pass a note to his partner, or they pass some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or they just whispering, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, they berate them. It's not just discipline, they're abusing our young males specifically.
And there are 2 types of feminizations and masculinizations going on in the schools. You have chemical and you have social. The social emasculinization is, or the effeminization and emasculinization is, if a boy can't sit down, if he can't stay still, if he can't be quiet for a whole hour, if he can't stop fidgeting, if he can't stop banging his pencil, then he's a problem to the rest of the class. But 99.9% of the time, these referrals and these problems are coming from female teachers. Because a woman doesn't understand how a boy is. A woman doesn't understand how a boy functions, that's just normal behavior for a 6, 7, or 8-year-old who has testosterone, who was beginning to go through puberty. So I get called to a room and such can't sit down. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like this, and you ask him 50 times to sit up. Some boys, you can't just ask them to sit up or to sit down or be quiet. Now, girls, on the other hand, can and do that for 5 hours. And there's no problem. There's a systemic targeting of black boys in those classes when that happens. Are those female teachers black teachers or white female teachers or both? Both. Both. The majority of black women in the schools, even the ones that have sons, because when you're a teacher, supposedly when you're operating in this system of white supremacy with the miseducation curriculum, in order to make sure that you are continuing to perform or adhere to a certain standard, you have to effeminize and emasculate the boys so that you can achieve your goals as a teacher. So if he's sitting like this, and he in the chair doing this math work, that's not good enough. If he's on the carpet, that's not good enough. If he's like this, that's not good enough. If he's like this, that's not good enough. If he's like this, it's not good enough. He has to be like this.
Who doesn't?
The entire time. That's the kids not gonna do that. And it's always the ones who are like this, or the ones that are like this, who's knocking out their history work before the rest of the class, the ones that are always being targeted. The one that's sitting there that's quiet, he's quiet because he don't know nothing. And because he doesn't know and understand the work and he's afraid to ask for help, he's not a problem child. But the one who is using his energy manifest to keep him interested in the work to do, then after he does the work, because of the curriculum, you don't have a second, third, fourth, fifth assignment to keep him on task. Now he's like, yo, he's bored to death. He's bored to death.
When I'm only 21, so I graduated high school in 2012. That wasn't so long ago. And we always felt like we was in jail. The only difference is that we got to leave. Basically, because the administrators were like the guards. The teachers were like, I don't know, they were a form of a guard too. And administration was pretty much, they were just like, it was like the oppressor was like constantly over you. Everything, like if you was a black male, you could literally do the same thing any white boy would do, but your punishment is automatically suspension. And it got to the point where there were some administrators that were more consciously aware, they would just start throwing the referrals out because the teacher would write a referral for anything. I got suspended because I laughed too loud. Anything to get you out of the school, they try to push black youth out of school.
You know, so they don't want them to be thinkers. They don't want them to ask them why we still celebrate Columbus Day. They don't want them to ask why you never mention Native American history in a course called American History. They don't want to talk about why we only talk about black people for 2 weeks in February. They don't want to talk. They don't want them to ask those type of questions. Matter of fact, again, they get reprimanded and disciplined, saying they off task, or he's ADHD, or he's, what is it, oppositional defiant disorder? That sounds a lot like Drake Tomaine. You want to be free. So something wrong with him. Because he's defiant, something wrong with him. You know, he's not just taking it from behind.
You hear that shit right there? Drake Tomaine, look that shit up. The Drake Tomaine, man.
So, now here's my question. That's a loaded question. I'm going to ask a loaded question. Everybody's upset at me now. Are the white females doing that because they just don't know how to deal with black youth? Or are they systematically targeting our children for failure?
The system is targeting. It's not the teachers that are targeting. But they have been.
Wait a minute now. That sounds good, but I don't know where the system is because she said that the white teacher is the one that made the decision, not the system. Because the system didn't decide that boy would. So this white teacher is doing it. I'm asking what the teacher's motivation is.
The teacher's motivation to keep her class is trying to keep 30 kids in a seat.
So you're saying it's not intentional?
I don't think most teachers go into the profession for good purposes. Most teachers do. I think when you got this many teachers and this many students.
You doing some jump jacks again, though. Wait a minute. I didn't ask nothing about the system and the matrix system. And I said, listen, since most of the individuals that are teaching the black boys are white females, and since they seem to pick black male children to be the ones that need to have rhythm, my question is simple. Are those white females doing it on purpose with the objective of undermining and destroying black boys? Or is it a mistake? Are they doing it on by accident?
White teachers think that they're already doomed from the start. So they're,
who's already doing it?
Black boys are doomed from the start. So when they send them out, they do this. It's not, they're not doing it, but it's just the world they live in. They don't have a future anyway. So I've seen teachers. Yeah, like, I'm not doing it. It's just that's just their world. They don't have a future. So I'm gonna send them to ALC, which is like in school jail, even though they haven't done anything. Because what does it matter anyway? Right. So I've seen that. The teachers that I work with, I said no, he has not done anything. We're not sending him to ALC. I went and got him from ALC, and I'm like, no, that's not happening.
You heard or seen white teachers say, he hasn't done anything, but I'm sitting there because this is not
didn't turn in a permission slip, so he's gonna say ALC. I said no, he's not. He didn't turn in a permission slip, so since he's not going, he's in ALC.
So you're saying that now, we get one, I got one answer now. What she said is, before the teacher even comes to the class, you're saying this white female said that black male children are hopeless, and I'm going to make sure that I help to destroy them by sending them in the direction of hopeless.
Right.
So you're saying it's fully intentional, not no accident. They already don't believe in black children. Right. I want to hear what everybody else has to say. Everybody else kind of, magical streams of the that's not a Texas cow. I want to know if it's over. Okay, well, let's go to the. Listen.
I just put it like this. It would be unintelligent for a white female teacher to teach black male children to compete with their children. So, since the person has multiple degrees, I'm going to assume they have some level of intelligence. And I'm going to assume that they're exercising that intelligence so that those children cannot compete on a level with their own children. Because we understand, if we look at the environment we're in today, people are complaining about people coming over from other countries and taking their jobs. Now, if you're complaining about people coming from other countries taking your job, are you really going to educate people in this country that are already here, who speak the language, who know the culture, and have them compete with you to take the jobs that you already are complaining about being taken by somebody else? That doesn't make any sense. So we have to assume, well, I'm going to assume, I just stand here by myself. I want to speak for everybody at the table, that they're going to do the intelligent thing. And since the system is already set up in a way to maximize European children and to minimize everyone else, and of course African children are at the bottom of that totem pole, it would be silly of us to believe that they would not push that agenda and use every means that they can, but to do it in a way that people will sit there and like, I don't think they're doing it on purpose. One thing that happens to black people while we're in the condition we're in is we always find a way to try to make an excuse. It ain't all the white people. But George Zimmerman not really white, he's suspect. Or, well, you know, the boy that shot up the 9 people, I mean, you know, he was just crazy. Oh, well, he hated black people, but not all white people hate black people. Or the people that drug James Bird behind the truck, you know, they was drunk. I mean, we always come up with an excuse. But you notice that when other people do things, all black people are guilty.
Sean Alexander wrote this book, The New Jim Crow, and it has a lot to do with the language that we're talking about, and the education system has been subject to it. So I just wanted to read something out of here that might be informative. She writes, what has changed since the collapse of Jim Crow has less to do with the basic structure of our society than with the language we use to justify it. In the era of color blindness, it is no longer socially permissible to use race explicitly as justification for discrimination, exclusion, and social contempt. So we don't. Rather than rely on race, we use the criminal justice system to label people of color criminals, and then engage in all practices supposedly left behind. So the teacher is socialized in that same fashion, especially the white female teacher. The thing of black men as criminals inherently. And so then they teach them in that fashion as such.
Okay, so let me ask you this. A very intelligent, aggressive, young black boy who's excited about learning, excited about life. He's in first grade, he goes in. He wants to ask a lot of questions. He's fast, he's sharp. What's going to happen to that 5-year-old boy? Yes, ma'am. But wait a minute, he's intelligent. So you see
my child, my son.
So tell me why. What's the explanation?
My son was hyper excited, learned to read by the time he was 2. Hated books, but still. Robots, engineering, all of that stuff. He gets to school. I still have the picture of him on the cover of Style magazine with 2 other children and the superintendent of public schools. He was the blur in the picture because he couldn't sit still. They told me to put my child on red light. I didn't.
How old was he?
He was 5. He was 6.
He was 6.
First grade. I put him in science camp. I put him in math camp. Put him in music.
How old is he now?
24.
How's he doing in life?
He's in college, did 2 years on the church mission at 19. Works 3 jobs and goes to school full time.
Has he ever had any problems with school?
Nope.
The regular situation, I was on it myself. And when my dad found out, he immediately took me off.
That's right.
Because he didn't feel as though I needed to be on that because I was not that type of person. I changed. My whole demeanor has changed when I was on rhythm.
What grades were you in?
I was in a Christian school, so I was still like 6th, 7th grade.
And why did they say they put you down?
Because I was the talkative person.
So you were talking?
And I would always have to walk around. Like, I would finish my work first.
So you finished your work first, did you get good grades?
Mm-hmm.
So you get good grades, finish your work first, did you ask a lot of questions?
Yep.
So you were the one that were bright, you had questions, you didn't just take what was said, everything like that, and you were assistant.
And now it's always quiet. Like, I'm always quiet because I'm afraid to raise my hand. I'm afraid to get a better understanding of what are certain things, because when I was in school, when I did try to, ask for questions, they would tell me, okay, I'll go to the next person.
So you're saying, this is really honest, real talk. You're saying because of them putting you on Ritalin and discouraging you from talking and asking questions and challenging things, you don't challenge things as much now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the long-term effects that she was talking about her son, about not necessarily wanting to read and talk.
When did you realize that long-term effect exists? When did you realize that?
When I went to college. Because I went to a community college first, and I would ask questions, and then it's like people in the classroom, they already like, you got another question?
Yeah.
I need to understand. And then the teacher would say, well, I've already, gave you the information. Now, so whenever one says never a dumb question, every time I ask the question, it was a dumb question.
Yeah.
So now I don't question. I just okay.
That problem with my son, and my son, I just took him off of medicine because I had no idea, because I didn't do my research, and as a single mother, I just needed a solution, and I'm suffering from that. That's personal, but my son, he always had the tab. The table. And I had to teach him to use his pencil, just table.
That's what I told
So that's what I and I would literally get phone calls all day long about my son. They said he had ADHD and he was in this psych ward and that psych ward, and I knew my son didn't have a problem. He just had a lot of energy. And they were telling me that these things, and I was like, well, I don't think that's the case, but if you want to put him in this alternative class, then that's going to help me, you know, be able to stay at work and keep a job and raise my 2 children, then I guess that's what I had to do.
Let me ask you a question. When they asked you to do that, were you thinking more about it helping you going to the job, or did you really believe that it was going to help him, or did you know?
I knew it was not going to help my son. Oh. I knew that it was going to stop him from being who I knew he was. And
so you knew that, but you were like, I can't keep on my head.
I didn't have, because I didn't know that I knew from seeing other children that it would just have him zoned out. And it was like crack. So I did not understand or know that it came with a long-term effect of, now I notice that he doesn't want to read as much, or he gets upset when it's story time at home, because like I said, I always taught my children at home, and now he gets upset. It's not come there and go, get a book, it's time to read me my stories. I don't want to, I don't know this word, and
he wasn't like that.
Was not like that before.
So you see a definitive change in your son's personality since he started using stuff.
I did, and he had so much energy, and it was just like, it was a mess. He did all of the things that you said, but he was getting his work done. And he done what anybody in his place. Yeah.
How many years did you have him on the Ritalin or whatever drugs you had him?
Well, he wasn't doing it in the summertime. He was just only doing it for a year. It was for the school year last year, and the end of the school year for that.
So 2 years?
Yeah.
2 school years?
Well, 1.5.
1.5 school years. What made you say, I can't do this anymore?
Well, I researched, and I was around AU, and just African unification, just getting a different knowledge, and people telling me, you know, this is what's going on. This is, you know, people telling me, you know, that's in the school system, you know, they're specifically targeting black boys for ADHD. Nobody in my family has ADHD. And we're highly intellectual people, but it's just that my son was not complying with what they wanted him to do, sit up straight.
And I want to go to ask you, I think it's very important, and I'm not beating up you whatsoever, because we understand we all under attack, so please don't.
I don't feel any type of way.
I'm going to ask you this again, because I want people to hear this so we can understand the kind of position this stuff was in. Single mother?
Single mother.
Okay, so you're taking care of your son, and you don't have time to keep taking on work and everything like that. But you, not because you've done research, but you just could look and say, my son doesn't need these drugs. Right. But in order for you to stay gainfully employed and to make life easier for yourself and to be able to keep paying for the bills and having a room, you said, I'll make the sacrifice of letting him do these drugs that I know are not good for him, because they're putting this pressure on me, because this will help me stay employed to keep a roof over his head.
Before I knew, it was just, I thought that he was just going to be, I didn't know that it had long-term effects. I had no idea that, because I've seen kids with it, like I said, I just thought that it was going to have them sit still in class.
Did you know what that meant? Did you know what they meant to sit still? Did you know this is like doping them up, or did you just, you didn't think that deep?
If I didn't think that deep, it was kind of like, okay, is this, like I was really put in a really bad position.
And they were pressuring you,
and
or did you just
it was, no, the school was pressuring me. He did the IEP. And
what is that? IEP?
The individual, yeah.
Individual educational plan.
Right, and he was 7 months past what his grade level was supposed to be. And I sat there and I watched him do the IEP, and he was like Einstein with the IEP. And it hurt me because when he would come home, he just would not be the son that I knew. And because now I know, it hurt so bad because I knew that my son was one of those really special children that y'all don't know how to handle. He's smarter than this, he's brighter than this, but because dad isn't home, dad fell for the trick. And now I had to do this alone. I didn't have options and I didn't have knowledge of what this would do to my son.
But let me ask you, because you just brought that up. If Dad was there, do you think Dad would allow them to put on the
Never. He wouldn't even got to that point. Never. We would have never gotten to that point. Dad was an alpha male.
Wouldn't have had it whatsoever.
At all. My son, well, he doesn't go to the school anymore. He went to a school in West Baltimore where his teacher was not of, well, his principal was not of African descent, and neither was his teachers.
What ethnic background or race were they?
I couldn't tell what his principal was, but he was not. His teachers were. And he had one black teacher, and she was a woman.
Okay. How old was he then?
He was 7.
Okay, so that's 3rd grade?
Yeah, 3rd grade. Second, third grade. 3rd grade.
He was in 3rd grade?
Yeah, 3rd grade. So, I just was having problems with him in school, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on. He was like, Mom, I'm getting into fights, and his principal's calling me, his teacher's texting me, and I'm like, okay, so let me go to school. They didn't suspend him, but they were saying, oh, he keeps fighting on the boys in the class, and he's fighting at lunch, and he's fighting in the hallway. I'm like, why is my son fighting? That's not him to just, because he's a really relaxed kid. He's a laid-back kid. And so when I went to school and I had the parent-teacher conference with the principal, and my son, he said, well, your son is getting into fights. And I'm like, well, what's going on that, he's keep getting into fights? Because boys keep touching me, they keep hitting me in my private area or running my private area. I said, well, what is that? And the teacher says, oh, Miss Johnson, that's just a game called, that the boys are going around playing, called Nutsies. They do it all the time.
Called what?
Nutsies. And I looked at the principal, I'm like, what is this? What kind of game is this? He said, oh, boys are boys, boys are going to be boys, they're just going through something, they're going around either hitting each other, your son's hitting other kids probably, and the kids are hitting him or grabbing his growing area. And I said, well, that's not a game to me. And my son is fighting these children because he's defending himself. So why are we here? Why are y'all not doing anything to stop this? If it's going on and all the little boys are doing it, and I said, as a teacher, you just in a classroom and you allow this to happen. It was fine for the teacher. It was fine for the principal, but it was not fine for me, and it was not fine for my son.
So I just want to, because this sounds almost supernatural. So you're telling me there was nobody at the school who sympathized with the fact you didn't think it was appropriate for boys to be grabbing each other's private parts?
No, they just said boys will be boys, and boys, that's how boys play. They do it all the time, and that just was a norm for them that they allowed in their school. Nobody protested. It was not an issue. They didn't even suspend them, so it was like, it was kind of saying, okay, that's fine for you to go around and do that, and you're not being punished or reprimanded for your actions.
As being educated in a middle school, I see that these kids already know what they're into, what sexual orientation they are. We have the female bullies, the lesbian bullies that take girls into the bathroom and force themselves onto one another and on the school bus, making threats.
What happens? What do the girls do when they get threatened? They report it?
It may be of a friend that knows what's happening. Sometimes the girls are too afraid to say something. It's rare when a person who's being bullied or a child who's being bullied has the courage to say something. Because as you can imagine, in middle school, we're going to administration and saying, this girl bullied me. If you already have enough peer pressure as it is, you don't want to be labeled as a snitch or a talented or anything like that.
So here's my question.
This is my first year being a teacher in the school system. So I'm not in the district, I'm actually in Maryland. And the majority of the kids in the school, my school goes from kindergarten, pre-kindergarten to 6th grade. But in a few elementary schools, I still go up to 6th grade. But most of the parents are 2 moms. The majority of parents come to school, whether they have more than one child or not, they have 2 moms. A lot of my children have 2 moms.
You mean lesbians?
Yeah. Yeah. even though they might have a younger brother and an older brother, like she might have 3 kids, but she comes to pick up the school with her woman. I don't know how that works out. Her partner. Yeah, and especially with the young men, they seem like they're rebelling. Like they're rebelling against all of it. So the fact they're just starting to fight and stuff like that, that's a good sign to me. It's when they stop fighting. That's the problem.
There are games that people know about in middle schools and high schools. When they take a young, pretty freshman girl, they'll run up on her in the locker room and say, "You gonna get down with this?" Boys and girls. Girls and boys will run up on the boys, and then the next thing you know, you got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then by next semester, you walking around with sports bras, sagging your pants, and all of a sudden you got a girlfriend, and now you with it.
So you're saying girls are getting forced and intimidated into lesbianism?
Yeah, no, that is happening. And there's no suspension because this particular ideology and death style is being promoted. It's being slid under the table and it's protected by the law.
So wait a minute. So you're saying, even though we have a culture or country that says gangs are wrong, right? That gang is criminal behavior. If it's a homosexual gang and the homosexual lesbians are terrorizing young, straight, impressionable black girls, then the young black girl has nowhere that she can go with legal protection to prevent this from occurring.
If she does, nothing will probably happen because they're homosexual.
So what happens if a heterosexual black student goes and picks on a homosexual black student?
It's assault and it's exposure.
You could get a court date as well, depending on the age of the child. You will be seeing that judge.
Okay, so now let me reverse it. These kids we're talking about. What happens when the homosexual children are doing something to the heterosexual children? Homosexual children say, "Hey, he's playing nuts and he grabbed them off the house."
That's her son.
Nothing happens.
So bullying only applies in one direction. Yeah. So the homosexuals, by law, are allowed to bully the heterosexual children into homosexuality.
Protected by it's called victim rape. Same thing with Mike Brown. Darren Wilson shoots him to death, but it's Mike Brown's fault somehow. It's Trayvon Martin's fault somehow. They apply the same thing with homosexuality and when dealing with us.
We put him in 2015.
Okay, put
it in 2015. Between 0% chance they're not going to be gay or 100% chance that in 12 years they're going to be gay. It's different.
Or they'll try.
They end up trying, which is the same thing.
It's like 80. I say it's 80% for girls.
You see some of the straight ones hanging out with the gay ones. It's hard to tell, like, even if you just go down gallery face. You don't know which one. I mean, you look like a straight male, but then you have this.
I can't tell anymore.
It becomes accepted, so it's like, oh, these are my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm straight, I have to talk to girls. This is my gay friend here, we hang out.
Well, let me ask you a question, man. Then is it standard to say that the standard for our sons 18 and under is that they see having a homosexual friend, if he's a male and he has a homosexual male friend, and that's okay?
Yeah, it's a separate thing.
Next generation that's coming up after this one, that's going to be.
That's what they do.
Most high school ages is middle and high school. If they had that trauma and went through all of those emotions in elementary school, middle school just flames it, and high school just you find it in yourself, and it's okay because you can choose. It's like going to a candy store and you in there and you get to choose and nobody cares what you can.
What's the battleground for our children? Now, where's that line that says we don't get them, they know?
Well, first, we gotta get these.
Start watching television.
They watch it out the womb.
So that's where we start.
So that's where you start. So that's the first thing that teaches you. Anything white supremacy is teaching you.
When we were talking about how the numbers for the women and how the numbers for women are much higher than it is for the men. And for the percentage of young women coming out of high school and have had some kind of either gay or they've been there and turned back. But it comes full circle because earlier when we talked about how one of you all said that, you know, if the black woman is not behind it, it falls on its face. But if she's already introduced to that, that thing comes full circle. It comes full circle because she's like,
oh, it's not so bad, it's not so bad. But she goes on, she's already been there. So that stuck out to me, and most of the time when we talk about, homosexuality, the resistance comes from the Black women. Nobody fights anti-homosexuality like Black women do, and it's the saddest thing ever, I feel. But because women set the standard, not only are we going to have to understand the homosexual agenda and how it plays on our people, but we're going to have to begin to hold the line against it. Because, like one of my brothers said, it will literally fall on its face if we're not behind it the way that we are. That straight back pride. Like they're trying to make you accept something that is that you can tell isn't right, and because you're forced to accept something that is wrong, by you being right, you get in trouble for it. And that's the way things are going now. It's like wrong is right, and right is now becoming wrong.
So is homosexuality now like some kind of premise of white supremacy?
Basically, it's like a justification. It's a new justification. And it's the most effective.
It's cool to be a homosexual. There's certain privileges and protections from the law.
Anne County is also the same county where, flash forward out of high school, I'm in AACC, which is the community college of that county. And I'm hosting an event. I'm the president of the Black Student Union at the time. And me and my professor, Dr. Williams, we're trying to host an event, and we invited Dr. Mark Johnson to come speak about institutionalized racism. Nothing about the LGBT, nothing about homosexuality, none of that garbage. He came to talk about institutionalized racism. But since it was Dr. Umar Johnson, we all know his position with the whatever community, the homosexuals, since we know his position, and when they figured that out, they straight went above me, above my professor, canceled the event. But the reason that happened is because a gay, white male professor who got word from one of his gay, black male students about who Dr. Umar Johnson really is, as far as the gay, black male was concerned. And that white man pretty much, he flipped. And he sent emails to everybody in administration. Turns out, as my professor told me later, the president of AACC is a lesbian white woman. And every president prior to her, including the white males, were all gay. And they've been maintaining a grip on the homosexual power that's in that college. And the black studies courses have always had a problem getting on the curriculum. And that's because they've been holding it down since day one.
So tell me what relationship black homosexuals have to undermining black education for black children in black schools, or in schools, period.
They put their lifestyle above their race. They don't understand that it don't matter what a white person is. White people never accept us. They don't care who you are. If you say that you're also gay, white people don't care. They're gay racists.
That's right.
But why would the homosexuals want to teach against Pan-Africanism and black nationalism?
Because Pan-Africanism and black nationalism, in its essence, is the only ideologies black people have ever accepted that cannot have homosexuality whatsoever. It's impossible. You cannot be a Pan-African and be gay. It's not possible because the whole foundation of Pan-Africanism and black nationalism is building a nation. You can't build a nation if you ain't producing the children necessary to build that nation, to hold that nation. Therefore, you must have masculine men, feminine women who are having children. They are aware of that. Gay whites are aware of this, and they use gay blacks to undermine that because the foundation of Pan-Africanism, you cannot intercept it or infiltrate, because at that point then it's going to be obvious that someone's trying to take us down. Because if someone brings up the question, if I'm the leader of a Pan-African group and we have a meeting and we have some new members from out of nowhere and they're asking us about whether or not we are going to allow homosexual members, then those are going to be members that are not going to be in the group. Because at that point, if you allow that, then that means you're no longer Pan-African. So let me ask you a question. This is real serious. We got an individual named, he calls himself Genie Culture. He's a flaming homosexual, very open about that. There's an organization called the Uhuru Movement. Now, their Uhuru Movement is a national one. They're based out of Florida. And Shirley Yashita is running. And they actually take Ghazi Kojo to black students, sit around with children, and have this homosexual who is obvious. He's not like he's openly homosexual. And he's promoting he's wearing he holds a red, black, and green flag, and he's presenting himself as a Pan-African black man. Hey, no good, hey, no So my question, are you saying that when that's happening to the children, first of all, is that acceptable, and two, how dangerous is it for people to be using the red, black, and green flag to present to black children homosexuality?
It is in essence, what Pan-Africanism is, the moment it enters, if a white person is holding an RPG flag, it ain't RPG no more. It's a radical operation, because a white person can't, it means nothing. And a gay black person can't, it means nothing. The foundation of what Marcus Garvey created was for the nationalism of our own group. And we did that in the spirit of African spirituality, which was never homosexual. That behavior started from the Greeks and the Romans and the Chemists and all of them.
But to go with the chemical, also is how you check this out, lunch. You cannot bring outside lunch to school without a doctor's note. Well, you have to eat the school. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Wait a minute. The only thing I got in because you just said something. Years ago, I was at a Dr. Frank Press Wells, and she every second or third Thursday, she does a free thing over here at Howard. I never forget, this sister told me that the Pentagon offered, it was in schools in Southeast, elementary school, the Pentagon offered, and they accepted the school to give free lunches to the students. And she said that she noticed that every day after school, after lunch, the children were just...
They off the chain.
Off the chain.
Straight up.
So you're saying that still happens now?
Oh, yes. My job is almost impossible after lunch. The lunch is recess. So then they go from lunch to recess, and to get them back in the building, to get them ready for dismissal. That's all I'm doing after recess, is getting them ready for dismissal. I haven't been...
You think that anything to do with food?
I know it has something to do with it, because I ate something with food. And I was like, this ain't food. This is, what is this? Everything is salty, everything is sugary, and if it's not, it's totally tasteless, and it tastes like mush, and it makes you feel bad, quite frankly. They always ask me to go to the nurse afterwards. They always have you do wrestling after lunch. It's just a problem. Their bodies are not breaking down whatever they can give them to. It's always milk. Milk. It's not milk, it's orange juice. Now, orange juice is cool, right? But orange juice has a lot of sugar in it. So this apple juice and grape juice, that's the only alternatives to white milk, chocolate milk, strawberry milk. The only alternative to white milk, chocolate milk, strawberry milk is grape juice, apple juice, orange juice. And this is not chocolate channel or nature. This is there. This is wherever the school gets it in bulk from.
So it's possible, I don't know the answer to this, but it's possible that these same multinationals that feed the prison system on this global level, just coming into our schools.
Yeah, it's the same people. It's the same company. Yeah. So that's so simply all of these hospitality management companies.
Say that, I want to make sure that everybody gets away. You're saying for sure that the same institutions that feed the black males that are in prison are feeding black boys and girls in the schools.
Yes.
Starting from kindergarten, and I kind of work with young kids like that. The food that they bring into the system are overcome with estrogen. So to only speak about the social aspects of it is kind of cutting, most of the beginnings out. When you start off in kindergarten, pre-K, first grade, that type of thing, the baby foods
and that type of thing, and the fruits and vegetables that they feed them are chemically causing homosexual thoughts, homosexual actions, in general. And then, like y'all was talking about the social aspect, that just reinforces it. When you get a situation where you have a whole big group of feminized boys, and like you said, you drop a regular heterosexual male, they're impressionable. Plus the chemical changes. Well, if you put them down, you got a serious.
What's the time?
Yeah, you want it. You're not gonna
And not everyone has that option to do something about it. I'm in an area where there are no Afrocentric schools. Single mother, so I have to work. I have no choice. I do not have the option of homeschooling my children.
But we haven't created other options for each other as far as developing our own school and our own, teaching apparatus. We haven't done anything. We haven't laid the groundwork of the foundation for us to move forward, and it speaks badly on us.
If the 60 percentile pass rate of that European misinformation doesn't come out of that classroom, she's out of a job.
So you have to miseducate your children in order to stay in gain employed. Now,
first of all, school is just behavior modification. What they want to do is, and this is what the Common Core is a reflection of, they want better workers for their workforce. This school is not about making them strong black men or strong black women. They try to have a more educated, a more efficient workforce. Capitalism is efficient. It doesn't care about philosophy, ideologies, nor culture. If it's not a corporate culture, they don't care about the culture. They want the children to be able to spew back information that was force-fed.
This is a student who was recruited for and told the brother that I know before he heard anything about the recruitment. He said the brother told him that the FBI came in. This is a fact, the FBI did come. But the brother told him what he told him. He said the FBI told him we're recruiting black people to take over the black Pan-African groups, all black groups, and to promote homosexuality. And he told him he wanted to put homosexuals in charge.
And they are. Pay attention.
From our perspective, being 21, if you was born after like 9 years, you just added a whole new world.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Not the same thing that my little cousins grew up with.
Four figures, this is out of my own. The rainbows you couldn't see it unless somebody showed you.
It's just not
it's right there.
Okay, so we got to talk about what's next. This looks like getting darker out. Okay. So, do you increase the likelihood or decrease it by sending them to public school? Significantly or low? No, I was in middle school.
I'm for totally a mass exodus of all black children from the public school system.
Essentially, we not only separate some part, but parents have to be involved in the kids' school at all times and be there and engage and know what's going on in the classroom. And until we get to a point where we can educate our own.
So my only option is to stay involved with the school. When my kids were younger, I was the PTA president. I was in school every week. Job be damned, I was there. Couldn't give up my job, but I was there. I was involved in their school all the time, from work on, and stayed involved. Parents tend to trickle off their involvement with schools as their children get older. It gets dangerous in middle school. That's when you really need to get more involved.
I come from a social work perspective. I've been in these homes and we've done trainings with children. That's where you can actually implement those kind of things. With the parents' permission, you can do that kind of thing. And so we have more conscious social workers or conscious counselors and psychologists that's kind of where we can invent our curriculum and the Black love factor, healthy relationships between men and women in that way. So you all can take care of the academics and social workers and things can take care of like the relationships and counseling aspect also.
I feel like this is a way we do have an all-black school for our kids, that we will see that these boys that are investing in us, they will see, well, if this black man, this conscious man is doing this, I can also do this too, while going to the school. And it's putting it into the mind that they're saying like, well, if you can do it, why can't I? If I'm learning the environment and putting it in front of me, I feel like it's going to be a better chance for me to build for my family, build for me, and for whatever I have to do in my future.
So then what is the first step in providing different alternatives? Well, so how do we start that? So with everybody agree, we gotta have our own school system. Yeah. Let's define our own. Is it fair to say it can't just be just black people doing it? It has to be. So would it be, would being anti-gay and not accepting homosexuality, would that be part of the school system? I'm not saying it should or shouldn't. How definitive would it be? Would it be like absolutely? Okay, so it would be a straight school. How would it be to only have black students, or would it be allowed to have all different type of diversity, or how much diversity? What do you mean? Would you have black students and Hispanic?
No, all black students, because they got all white schools and they got.
What about teachers? Okay, so do we agree that it will have to be all black students?
All black teachers, staff.
The curriculum got to
like people that are in this type of room, in this type of environment, this type of the group that y'all in, the AU, I feel like that's very the case. Those type of entities will have to be the first ones to start funding it, to get the buildings, to get the foods, to get the education piece out from the very beginning. And then it just kind of spreads from there. Their children, our children, friends, you get them, man. Your cousins, and you know. Here in Washington, D.C. has been here almost 50 years. You know, if you're not supporting when it disappears and the school's no longer there, you gotta tell us who. Bobby Zucker, Ujima Shoe, like over on the 8th and T Northwest. In fact, it's walking distance from here. Yes, sir. Bobby Zucker's been doing work for 47 years. Educating African children. That's right. When you have something right there, you gotta support it. If you're in Atlanta, and Bobby Barudi's right there educating African children, a Coleman House, African House, if you're not supporting it, you're part of the problem.
We're irresponsible. We're irresponsible. If we really cared about our kids, we would be dedicated to educating them. We wouldn't have to send them anywhere. We would send them to the black school, to teach them the black curriculum. It's just irresponsible on our end.
We're still sending our kids to these schools knowing that this is our Africans over here. No.
We don't care enough. What does that mean? If we don't care enough about our own children to remove them from an environment that we know is designed to destroy them.
So there needs to be some culture, but the danger about that for the second generation, and what's happening is they're going to become European. See, with their thought process. They're going to think they're better than us already.
So,
until you drop
knowing that this is going on is frightening to me, and I need to be able to be around people that actually, when I do choose to have children, that I know if I'm around these type of individuals, I'm comfortable that at least I have a direction that I can take with my children instead of putting them into the same environment that we've all been subjected to.
I just want to thank African Unification for coming out. I have enjoyed meeting you all and working with you all so far, and hope that this will continue. And as far as this issue, this is really one of the #1 issues on the table. And the fact that you will come out and stand strong on it, I appreciate that, because realistically, people have decided to attack our children directly. And if we do not defeat that attack, the battle is lost. It's point blank. So anytime someone comes out and do work on an issue like this, that most people want to run from, want to hide from, don't want to speak on, act like it's not taking place, you have to applaud those people for standing up and being true warriors. It is not. So I just want to say thanks.
And I want to thank African Unification and Straight